Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I am Gavin Williams alongside
Charlie Caleri.
And first and foremost, by the time of this recording is October 30th, which means tomorrow is the 31st. So happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Hopefully you guys carve some pumpkins and have a good time.
Spooky season.
Man.
Yeah, spooky season. And this NFL season is getting pretty spooky
it's getting
too.
Real spooky.
It's getting a little muggy, a little bit foggy in there. And we've been looking at these playoff races coming up.
It's getting crazy.
And it's getting close. A lot of these matchups this week are going to impact the playoffs a lot. We'll get into that today. But overall, recapping last week, talking about the games this week, as usual.
Oh, yeah. You guys know the drill by now.
If you guys don't follow us on our Instagram.
Yeah, Out of Bounds podcast with a dot in between every single word.
Yes, it is, Gavin. We'll have NBA stuff coming up soon. NHL stuff coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. All that on the way. But for right now, let's dive into Week 8.
Yeah, man.
Recap it. Starting with that Thursday night game. Minnesota taking on the Rams. In a game where you saw the Rams win 30-20. And you know what? Honestly, coming into this game, Vikings started off the season obviously 5-0. Now falling to 5-2. Now you start to raise some questions about this Viking team in their actual ceiling for the season, because they've shown that they're a human team. You know, Sam Darnold in this game, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's still putting up consistent numbers, but just not good enough to really put up enough points against that Rams defense. Justin Jefferson adding in 115 yards by himself, but not getting in the end zone this game. For the Rams, it was Josh Oliver, Trent Sherfield. For them, former Buffalo Bill Trent Sherfield, great blocking wide receiver. If you know, you know. And on the other side for the Rams here, pretty good game for Matt Stafford, man. This guy's a baller. He's a hard worker, man, and he's going to get this Rams team back right. And they're 3-4 now, 3-1 at home. 279 passing yards for Matt Stafford, 4 touchdowns, and he threw that pick. But didn't ultimately cost his team. Still getting that 10-point win. Kyren Williams, man. He's been such a force in that backfield this year with 97 rushing yards, adding in. And they got Puka Nacua back this week. 106 yards from the kid in his first game back on 7 receptions. That's a classic Puka stat line. We've been seeing that for the last year. Him and Cooper Kupp, man, that duo is going to be back fully healthy soon. And watch out for the Rams to make a late season playoff push. I know the NFC's kind of bunched near that 7th seed.
Yeah, but that West is wide open. Right,
but that West is wide open. Yeah, you got the Eagles and the Bears battling with that 7th seed there. But Cardinals actually sitting at the top of the NFC West right now at 4-4, followed by the 4-4 Niners, followed by the 4-4 Seahawks, followed by the 3-4 Rams. Yeah. So I mean, any of those teams, as we've seen over the course of the season, can win those big games. But can also lose those easy games. So the NFC West is going to be really fun to watch at the end of the season. And those divisional games, we'll see some intensity late season for the NFC West, which is great to see because I feel like we haven't seen the NFC West be this good probably in like 10 years since Legion of Boom, Michael Crabtree. You know, even the Cardinals were good around that time with Palmer and Fitzgerald and the teams they had. So these are some good times right now in the NFL. And good divisional races too, not to exclude the North as well. So the Vikings kind of falling back into that playoff race as well in that North division. Kind of giving way for the Lions kind of to make that push to be the 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah. It was a bad week for me to bench Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
Dan Monahan beat me in some stunning fashion, but let's talk
twice,
about...
I heard.
Yeah, twice. I'm in 2 leagues with Dan. He beat me in both.
But we do need to point out
there was a big week for the Out of Bounds crew.
We do need to point this out.
And Gavin Williams, BTA. If you don't know what that means, I hope you know what that means because I went BTA to Charlie this week.
His team went off, man. It was Jalen Hurts. We will talk about Jalen Hurts. Trust me, and I'm sure Gavin will talk extensively about Jalen Hurts towards the end of this recap, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Jalen Hurts went off this week. 35 points for him. And my fantasy team is just decimated by injuries, and I just don't want to talk about it right now. But Gavin did beat me by
30.
If
it wasn't 30, it was like 29.
It was a substantial margin. I do think if Jalen Hurts didn't have as good of a game, it would be a lot better.
Like the 1 o'clock slate, it was like a close game, and then just pulled away, man.
Yeah, the 4 o'clock. I mean, I didn't have many guys going to the 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I digress, and let's move on to your team right now.
Yeah,
Getting
man.
a big win.
Yeah, it's a big win. It was almost a trap loss. Almost
Blew it a few times.
Yeah. So the Green Bay Packers walked into Jacksonville, Florida to play the Jaguars. And I guess I'll just start right off with the Jaguars because this guy played a pretty good game. Trevor Lawrence, he had 308 passing yards, 2 tutties, and a pick. Tank Bigsby, that boy runs north-south. Let me tell you that. He didn't get in the end zone, but he still had 78 yards on the day. Brian Thomas Jr. finds a way to get it done every week. 3 receptions, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. And let's not forget to mention Evan Ingram. That guy's a beast. I mean, catching a touchdown over 3 people, kid's a dog.
And National Tight Ends Day, too. I mean, big week for the tight ends here. I don't know how many touchdowns they scored, but in the early window alone, watching Red Zone and watching those games happen.
Everybody was going for their tight ends.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, you could tell that they were specifically had those Red Zone plays ready to go for those tight ends. I don't know how the defense didn't plan a little bit more for that because usually, I mean, you see the spike every week in Week 8 for National Tight Ends Day, Week 8, Week 9, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point out about Brian Thomas here.
Yeah.
Went down with an injury in this game. I think he'll be back next week, but something to monitor for that team because if he is out for a long time, you're going to see a guy like Parker Washington step up, the second-year guy.
Especially because Christian Kirk fractures collarbone. He'll be out for the season.
Right. So you're going to see Gabe Davis step up in that offense, too. He's a little bit banged up. So Parker Washington, you're going to see a lot of him to end the season because, like you said, Christian Kirk is out and Brian Thomas banged up as well.
Yeah. Going on, we were just talking about tight ends. We'll talk about another one right here. Tucker Kraft, baby. This guy's amazing. 3 receptions, 78 yards, tutty. That's his 5th tutty. He's a tutty in 5 straight games, which is outlandish for the Packers because they usually never use tight ends. So seeing that they finally like a tight end, that makes me really, really excited to see. Josh Jacobs, the man, the myth, the legend. He said that he could carry the Packers on his back if he had to, which that he sure did do. He sure did do. 25 carries, 127 yards, 2 tutties for the kid, and wearing number 8 in the green and gold. Then we got Jordan Love. Dude's got to stop with the picks. He's got to stop getting fancy. Because look what he's doing. He's getting injured.
He's trying a little bit too much.
He's trying a little too much. I love his back foot throws. They're cool, but they can do this, and you're going to get rocked by some guy who just doesn't care if you're going to get rough in the passer penalty or not. And he's going to get... He got roughed up this game. He got taught a lesson that if he doesn't keep his cool, his calm against a good defense, he's going to get hurt, and he's going to go out. But now I'm going to talk about a guy who is... He's the MVP of the Packers this year. I'm going to put that out there. Malik Willis. If you're listening out there, Malik, my guy, he's really picked up for all Jordan Love's mistakes or for his, presence being out. And I don't know what it is. I was telling the guys about this on Sunday. I don't know what it is about the Green Bay Packers offensive line, but whenever Malik Willis gets in there, they snap into it, dude. They snap into it because whether they hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs and he gets 100 yards in a quarter, or that didn't actually happen. I'm just saying. That's a little exaggerated. Or they let Malik Willis go out and throw his own touchdown ball. Like, it's just good complimentary football. And Jordan Love's got to get healthy. Obviously, that's still my guy. I'm just bashing him because I have the right to bash him.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
And he just got to step up. And once he steps up, it'll be good. He's been, like I said, he's been playing really good this year. It's just the picks gotta go away. If the picks are away, like, whatever. But there's this little funny stat I have to read because another man just got another interception this week. His name's Xavier McKinney. New streak is going right now. Hopefully, he can keep it going next week. But there's one, I think, Packers fan, reporter, someone, I don't know, put this out there. It said the race between Jordan Love and Xavier McKinney for most interceptions on the Packers has been thrilling.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's quite the race.
One more stat about the defense, because the defense does win championships and does win games. I'm not saying we're winning the championship. I'm just saying they win games. In the year 2023-2024, so last season, they had 18 total takeaways. Through 8 games this year, Packers have 19 total takeaways.
That's awesome.
So Jeff Hafley's revived this defense.
Yep.
No, it's a good win. Stayed away from a trap game. On to Detroit, biggest game of the year.
It is biggest game of the year coming up, and I want to point out where would this team be without Josh Jacobs this season? Because I mean, like you said, where would they be without Malik Willis? But even more, where would they be without Josh Jacobs? Because those weeks when Jordan Love was out, obviously it was Malik Willis carrying that load, but Josh Jacobs was getting, beat up in that backfield for those weeks.
He put the team on his back
Right.
for 2 weeks, and then now the third week.
Yeah,
And even when we did have him, we've used him quite remarkably. And you asked me what would we do without Josh Jacobs? I don't know. I plain and simply don't know because if just say we brought back the same team as last year.
obviously you still have Aaron Jones if you had Josh Jacobs.
Exactly.
Though, but yeah,
And it's like if we had Aaron Jones, I think he'd still do something. But I don't know. Just not to this caliber. Just because there's been games when, like for example, when A-Rod was out, and we had Aaron Jones in the backfield. Jordan Love was his rookie or sophomore year.
the Chiefs game.
Yeah, the Chiefs game. Lost that game.
Yep.
Didn't do anything with running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that's a bad example, but there's a reason why they brought Josh Jacobs
Right.
in. He fits the team. He's younger. He's a dog.
And he's just a reliable pass catcher out of that
Yeah.
backfield. Yeah.
So, if we did not have him, we'd be sitting at 3-3 right now.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
So moving on now to we're going to South Beach. Moving from Jacksonville to South Beach now, staying in Florida. And the Cardinals. Wow. This Cardinals team, man, they're a fun team to watch. Electric. Getting that win 28-27 over the Miami Dolphins. Moving to 4-4 now. And like I said before, atop that NFC West. Huge for the Cardinals. Huge for Cardinals fans all over Arizona and all over the
Luke
country.
Strasburger.
Including Luke Strasburger. Shout out to Strauss. And I just want to point out this Dolphins, this game, this is a game that the Dolphins lost. It's not a game that the Cardinals won. It started off really good for the Dolphins here, winning 13-7 at half. But it was a commanding 13-7 lead. They looked good. They had the ball for a lot of the first half. They're running the ball, getting long possessions, just working the ball really well down the field overall. And then second half is really, third quarter specifically, is where it started to unravel here for the Miami Dolphins. And it really started with that safety that the Cardinals got. At the time, it was 20-10 for the Dolphins, and they had the ball, right? I mean, you're thinking here, go up by 17 in the third quarter, you're feeling pretty good about keeping your lead throughout the fourth, right? I mean, then get a safety. Now it's an 8-point game, and the Cardinals get the ball. Guess what they do? Go right down, score a touchdown. They don't get the 2-point, but now they're down by 2, right back in the game. To me, when I was watching that game, I thought in my head, that's the game, that's the play that's going to make them lose that game. I mean, 2 points is 2 points, but the fact that it gives you the ball too is such a big swing in that game. And then obviously late in this game, Chad Ryland hitting that game-winning field goal for the Cardinals, putting them up, winning this game. Tua, first game back, didn't love how he played.
I think he actually played pretty decent for just coming back.
First game back, he played all right, but you would think he wanted to get Tyreek a little bit more involved, especially late in that game when you thought maybe when they had the lead, especially, and they could have closed out the game. You thought maybe they would give him the ball, try to give him the ball. Stuff just didn't work late in the game. And on the flip side for the Cardinals here, they just got a lot of things rolling right now. Kyler's playing unreal, 307 yards from him and 2 touchdowns passing. James Conner, every week this guy seems to have a touchdown, 53 yards and a touchdown for him. And along with Marvin Harrison Jr., how good of a season he's had for being a rookie, their tight end, Trey McBride on National Tight Ends Day, 9 receptions for 124 yards. Very impressive from him. He was just consistently getting those 12-yard out routes almost every drive.
He had like 21 points in fantasy this week.
Really impressive stuff
from like if you play PPR, it meant a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just really impressive stuff from Trey McBride overall. So great game here from the Cardinals. A great momentum win here for the Cardinals. And I really think this is going to push this team into a playoff caliber kind of mode.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
go.
so. I think the playoff push for the Cardinals is on.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do it.
And this game also, this loss for the Dolphins really opened up the AFC East for the Buffalo Bills.
It really did.
Yeah.
And speaking about the AFC East, we'll go into an AFC East matchup that we had over the weekend. The New York Jets played the New England Patriots in Foxborough. And let me tell you, this game was actually really good. And it was a little sloppy at times, but I actually watched this game because it was split screen. You know, got the Packers in one corner. This game was in another corner. A couple games, you know, some red zone. But this was one of them. And let me tell you, the New England Patriots, their guy looks really good. I know he went out early, but Drake May looked really good in those first couple drives, right? It was almost, I think it was like first quarter, honestly. I think it was around there. First quarter, first and a half. He only threw the ball 6 times, played 3 times, 23 yards. But the thing that is getting slept on are that boy's legs. That boy can run, and he runs like a deer. 3 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown for Drake May. That was like one. I think his rushing touchdown was like 30 yards or 20 yards. It was a legit.
I've been very impressed with this QB class.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I thought before the season, in my perceptions of some of these QBs, I mean, it's totally changed. Totally
same here,
changed.
dude. I was same exact way. But since we're already talking about the Steelers, come on, Gav, the Patriots. Jacoby Brissett went in and didn't look pretty. 15 for 24, 132 yards. But all you got to do is hand the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson. Only had 48 yards, but he had 2 tutties.
Yeah,
so,
and Drake May this week, Gerard Mayo said earlier this week, he said that the availability for Drake May for Week 9 is still up in the air, but it's a positive sign that that at least he seems that he could be available.
Yeah,
for the
game. It was so weird because it looked like he just brushed up on his head. It wasn't even didn't look like a big hit.
Yeah,
But I think they're being extra cautious with their face of the team.
Any head injury, especially for your quarterback, those are things that you're going to monitor. Especially with everything's going on with like Tua.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush a rookie QB back.
Yeah.
So maybe you see Brissett play against the Titans this week. Maybe you see May get in there. I would like to see May get in there, try to get a win.
Yeah.
A legit, his own win for himself. But yeah.
Yeah. Talking about the Jets really quick. Aaron Rodgers, feel bad for the guy. 17 for 28, 233 yards, 2 tutties. Braylon Allen had a touchdown in there. Devontae Adams not really getting the ball. 4 receptions, 54 yards. That's not Devontae's stats. But Garrett Wilson played well. 5 receptions, 113 yards. That's great. And why not throw another touchdown to another tight end today? So Tyler Conklin got in the end zone. Final score of this was 25-22. Patriots get a huge win. Jets have to win out now if they want to make the playoffs. Legitimately. I know I would say 10-7 they might squeeze in, but in this AFC battle, they have to win out.
Yeah. Moving on now to an AFC North matchup here. And wow, what a game we got here. What an upset we had here in Cleveland. Jameis Winston.
I think the entire country, except for the state of Maryland, was happy about this.
I agree. I mean, it's a big win for
America.
I was just gonna say the contending AFC teams, but yeah, America as well, I guess. But yeah, big win for Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns here, 29-24 over those division rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. Now the Cleveland Browns moved to 2-6, and gives them a little bit of hope for the playoffs here. Not totally dead out of it yet. A lot of teams sitting there below 500, so not out of the question here for the Browns to make a push, especially getting Nick Chubb back fully healthy. Now you're going to have his 3rd game coming up this week, fully healthy. Obviously, losing Amari Cooper, losing Deshaun Watson really hurts, but now you're going to see the emergence of guys like Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy.
Guy balled out.
Yeah, you're going to see those guys step up. You're going to see Elijah Moore step up again for this team. And David Njoku, National Tight Ends Day, dig it in the end zone. And just a great game over here for the Cleveland Browns. And it's definitely going to be something that they can work towards. But on the flip side for the Ravens here, something I want to point out is now they're second place in their division to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is a game where going into it, they might have thought, hey, we probably got this win in the bag. And they kind of took their foot off the gas. Especially Lamar Jackson. Didn't look great early in this game. You could tell he was trying to make up for it later. Either for 289 and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry had another touchdown of his own. This guy scores every week. And Zay Flowers. I mean, Cav had a really good consistent season. Seven receptions for 115 yards. Baltimore just did too little too late. That was the story of the game. And great for Cleveland to not hang their heads early in this game and battle through it.
Yeah.
battle through it and get that win.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Cleveland, this is for you.
You gotta say, Jameis Winston is.
And that crowd was hype.
They
That
were.
was a hype crowd in the second half.
You could tell there's just a different energy when Jameis Winston's under center.
Yep, those fans were excited.
He's the funniest guy in the league. He's gotta be. He said, "Let's play for the decals on our helmets." He's like, "Wait, we don't have decals.
We don't got any decals.
So it's like, he's a tier 1 guy.
He is a tier 1.
He's a tier 1 out of bounds guy.
Yeah. One day we'll make a graphic with
An
the tier 1,
actual-
tier
yeah.
2, but not yet. Not yet.
That'll be postseason when we got
Yeah.
low on NFL.
Yeah.
All right, tier
Yeah.
list. Here we go. But let's talk about some guys over in Cincinnati that were shocked over the weekend. Charlie picked the Bengals on this one, but they got monstered.
I did, and I didn't think it was a terrible pick. Honestly, if you watch this game, it was not a 37-17 game.
it wasn't.
The Eagles in the fourth quarter just went nuclear. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
I still don't think the Bengals were a terrible pick in this game, but obviously I did pick them.
So the final score of this was 37-17, but first quarter was 7-0 Bengals, and then I'll just read the scores that the Philly had in all quarters. So in the second quarter they scored 10, third was 14, fourth was 13. They just lit it up after the first quarter, and then the Bengals put up 7-3 then 7. That's not going to get it done in the NFL. But Jalen Hurts, 16 for 20, 236 yards and a touchdown. Also had 3 rushing touchdowns, which was really nice for the fantasy. Saquon, 22 carries, 108 yards, which is also great for the fantasy. That was great. Devontae Smith, 6 receptions, 85 yards and a touchdown. That's looking really good for the Eagles. Like we said, they were going to get a win against the Giants, and now they're just going to prevail, and now they're going to carry this for the rest of the year.
Like I said before, I'll keep saying it. I did pick this team in the NFC Championship. Saw their schedule coming up. Saw the momentum that they had going into their bye week, I believe. And this team looks scary right now.
They do, especially because they held Joe Burrow to 234 yards, touchdown and an interception. Chase Brown only had 32 yards rushing on the day. Mike Gesicki was the leading receiver with 73 yards, and Jamar Chase was second with 54 yards and a touchdown. Philly gets a huge win when all the Bengals fans we got the whiteouts. Nope, psych. Take the L. Going on next week. Which I really wish the Bengals won.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And enough said.
Yeah, so moving on now to the AFC South in a massive swing game, or could have been swing game, for the Indianapolis Colts. Did not turn out to be. 23-20 win here for the Houston Texans over the Colts. In a game that a lot happened. A lot happened and a lot of storylines are coming out of it. The game itself was a good game. Classic AFC South matchup. These teams went back and forth.
I always said, when these two teams play each other, it's within 3 or 7 every time.
Right, yeah. These teams went back and forth the whole game. Score never got out of reach of 7 points. So, back and forth game overall. But starting off here for the Houston Texans, I just want to point out Stephon Diggs going down with that non-contact knee injury in this game. Turned out to be an ACL, and he's out for the season. I don't really have much to say about it. Any guy who's going to, talk bad about my city, I'm not going to root for or, cheer for. But I do respect the 4 years that he spent here. So, prayers up to him, I guess, in a speedy recovery, but not this year. And on the flip side for the Colts here, this is a rough game to lose. Obviously, and moving to 4-4 now. You're still in the playoff race, still in the thick of it, but winning this game would have given you the lead in this division. And especially knowing that Diggs going out now, huge loss for the Texans, obviously. But coming out of this game now, you lose this game, and now you lose your starting quarterback, I guess. Now Anthony Richardson getting benched for this veteran Joe Flacco, who we've seen carry teams like he did with the Browns last year, carry them to the promised land, meaning the playoffs, for teams like this. But the Colts they're really still in it. But winning this game obviously would have been nice. I do like how they're not scared to go away from AR. I think it's going to give him a jolt for the longevity of his career. But to start, man, these first 2 seasons have not. I know last season was 4 games, but the start of this season and the beginning of last season just not a good indicator of what his career is going to be. And I hope he can turn it around really quick. That's all I'll say about him.
Hey, this is, I don't support a guy just taking a playoff just to take a playoff.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. He said he was tired.
Nah, dude,
and if you're a mobile quarterback, especially, you should be able to sustain the hits. And if you're gonna scramble out, scramble out full effort. I mean, I don't know what he did in college if he went out any plays, but especially in the NFL, man. I mean, you just got to suck it up for that play. I'm assuming the next play that you didn't have to scramble out. You know, you don't have to scramble out every play and tire yourself out. So
and Pat McAfee was saying he should be in mid-season form right now.
yeah,
There should not be any plays that he's taken off. And like, could they blame the strength and conditioning coaches, or is it just to blame this kid? And I think it's just to blame this kid because I don't see any other players saying,
I've never seen a quarterback sub themselves out.
Yeah, I've never seen that in my life.
I don't know, especially a young quarterback who he knows
22 years old.
who he knows who is struggling. He's struggling right now,
Yeah.
and he knows the backup is a veteran who can play well in good spots. So
Yeah.
like that was a very questionable decision by Anthony Richardson to even consider going over to that sideline and like he did take a knee and kind of catch his breath. You know, whatever he did. But
Hey, for that action, he's getting benched this week, and
Yep.
Flacco's getting the start.
and who knows if that's the result of that or
Yeah,
because of his
I mean,
play.
I
I think
just-
it's
I
a
think it's
combination of
play,
everything.
yeah.
But you know, we'll see if he can get back into the starting lineup soon.
Yeah.
But something to really monitor here in the AFC South. But the Colts are not dead.
They're not that.
Even though they lose this game, Colts are not dead. But huge win for the Texans now because, you know, losing Diggs and potentially going to be losing a few more games down the line with their tough schedule they got coming up. Yeah, this AFC South is going to be a good race again, I think, at the end of the season.
That's going to be crazy. We're going to go on to the NFC North and another AFC South team. The Lions hosted the Tennessee Titans in a blowout. Score of this one was 52-14. Goff only had 85 yards, but threw for 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs had a touchdown. Shout out to Sam Laporta, National Tight Ends Day. Touchdown. The old team. I feel like everybody was getting a touchdown in this game. It was crazy. I was on the other side of the game. Sorry about that. We'll get to that in a second. Dave Montgomery also had a touchdown. Raymond had a touchdown. Brock Wright had a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown. You can name every guy on this whole roster, I think. They had a touchdown.
It seemed like it every time that I was
They-
watching Red Zone, and just every time they'd be flipping to the Lions game, it would be a different guy scoring,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But same time, it was just like,
It's like, all right, dude.
come on, man.
They didn't score 1 point in the fourth quarter, and they had 52 points, if that doesn't say enough. Mason Rudolph, touchdown, 2 picks. Mason Rudolph had his touchdown was he also had a rushing touchdown, excuse me. So he went 2 for 2, which his stats weren't horrible. I mean, I know 2 picks is bad, but this Lions team's really good. Calvin Ridley, the man of the hour. I mean, 10 receptions, 143 yards. He popped off in that first quarter. He had like 6 catches in that first quarter.
He did. He had 6 catches and 100 yards in that first quarter, and finished with, I think, what was it?
10. Oh, yeah, no, so he had 143.
What was his final stat line?
Yeah, 10 for 40, 143. So, unreal.
Really good play. Really good player.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's 52-14. Not too much to talk about here.
Yeah, moving on now to NFC South matchup, which this division, man. This division, I have no clue what to read about this division.
It's weird, man.
I don't know. We thought New Orleans was going to be in it, obviously, with Derek Carr going out. But now coming back, New Orleans could be back into it now.
That's huge.
Atlanta getting the win this week, 31-26 over their division rivals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, moving to 5-3. And now, you know, Tampa Bay moving to 4-4 now. Just this race is getting tighter and tighter week by week. Both teams coming into this game 4-3. And the story of this game was Kyle Pitts. And National Tight Ends Day, this guy 4 receptions, not 40. 4 receptions for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. This guy was getting torched for not scoring a touchdown for the longest time. And now I feel like the last few weeks, he's been getting in the end zone every week and consistently too. So this Falcons team looks good. They're 3-0 on the road, which I'm looking at right now, which is pretty impressive for that team. And let me just say, Kirk Cousins, man, he looks so good. He looks dialed. Every ball that he
really
throws is almost perfect placement.
It's a catchable ball.
It's always a catchable ball. I mean, he went 23 for 29 this game, 276 yards and 4 touchdowns. No picks. Usual Kirk stat line, which is crazy that we're normalizing that as a normal stat line. This guy needs more respect in the league. Same with Jared Goff, too. Both these guys need more respect in the league. Just because they're pocket passers doesn't make them less of a flashy quarterback, less of a better quarterback. And the Falcons getting the win here. 31-26. Really big momentum win for the Falcons. I think this is going to push them into kind of separating themselves in that division with all the injuries that the Bucs got, including, Mike Evans being out the next few weeks and Chris Godwin being out the rest of the season. I don't think that Rachaad White, Cade Otton, and Bucky Irving can really do that much, in that offense, along with the ragtag team of wide receivers they got, Palmer, Shepard, McMillan, all those guys. So Buccaneers kind of falling off. I do think that they're still going to be in that playoff race.
Yeah,
but,
they will.
Falling off nonetheless. Falcons getting a good win there.
Yeah, we're going to move on to another NFC South team. The New Orleans Saints visited the Los Angeles Chargers, which looked in the beginning to be a decent game for the Saints with a safety in the first quarter. Then the Chargers just lit them up.
There's a lot of safeties this week. I think there was 3 or 4 because there was
really?
one in that Falcons-Bucs game too.
There was, yeah.
So kind of a weird
It was a weird
week overall.
Yeah.
National Tight Ends Day, man. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. We got, the Saints didn't put one up against the Chargers. I mean the Chargers won this 26-8. Herbert looked great, 20 for 32, 279 yards, and 2 tutties. J.K. Dobbins, 17 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Ladd McConkey, the man of the hour, the MVP of this game, 6 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the rookie. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And that one catch was for like 70-something yards.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Showing off the arm strength from Herbert, too. Loved that. Going on to the Saints, I just feel bad for this team. Spencer Rattler is garbage. Hot garbage. 12 for 24 and 156 yards. It's not going to win you football games, especially with Kamara only having 67 yards. Chris Olave is the only guy on that team that really pulled out a week. 8 receptions, 107 yards. It's a disappointing week for the Saints, but a great win from those Chargers to keep them in that wild card spot right now.
They're in the 7th seed.
Yeah, they are in a position where they control their own destiny. I know they haven't had the hard schedule, but they're going to
play who you play.
You can only play who you play. And if they're 4-3 now. Saints fall 2-6, but more importantly, the 4-3. As of right now in the AFC, if you remain above 500, you're looking at a spot right now.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
Because that entire
drastic
conference
difference between the AFC and NFC right now.
Like the conference is just wide open.
Yep. And you've been talking about winning your out of division games for the Packers, but
it's huge.
This is a team, the Chargers, where you got to win your in division games.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, obviously, already having the Chiefs in that division is tough, but I'm talking about the Raiders and Broncos, and especially the Broncos. I mean, you should beat up on the Raiders. That should be the 2 games that you win. Those should be 2 wins for the Chargers there. If you're a competitive playoff team like you say you are.
Yep.
But for the Broncos there, that's a team you're competing with this year. They're better than you this year, quite frankly. So those are 2 wins that you need to pick up as well. So, but like you said, big win for the Chargers there, and staying in the playoff race there. Yeah. Moving in to what a game, man! What a game from my team, the Buffalo Bills, 31-10 in Seattle, where there was a sea, and I mean a sea, of Bills fans there. It seemed like it was
a lot of rain too.
A lot of rain. And you could tell that it kind of weeded out the Seahawks fans at the end there, especially at the end. But great game overall here for the Buffalo Bills, and a great game for Keon Coleman in general. This is a game that we wanted to see from him. Started off the game with that touchdown. I mean, if you haven't seen this touchdown yet, one of the best of the season, if I might say.
Head top.
Definitely head topped him. That
One-handed.
2-yard pass, but it was a lot more impressive than that. The box score kind of humbles it down a little bit.
It's a fade ball. I mean, fade balls are hard balls to throw.
Yeah, but great ball from Allen in general.
Great game from Allen in general.
Only Coleman could have gotten that ball. But, great game overall from Allen. But he did get his first pick in this game.
Did. He was pissed about it, too.
He did get his first pick in this game. It was his fault. Definitely his fault. Shouldn't have made that throw. But it didn't cost the team because early in this game, I was really concerned about the Bills. I thought it was going to go the way that the Titans game was starting to go. And it kind of was because the game started off 7-7. Seahawks came back 7-3. And then in between that, they get that pick. So now they're in the red zone now right after that pick. And you're thinking, wow, we're going to go down 10-7 against the Seahawks in Seattle. It's a game that we already thought we might have to struggle with. Tough team, tough place to play. But get the stop there. Huge 4th down stop. I don't know why
Is that the Geno Smith one where he tripped over?
Yeah,
his line?
their center. I mean, oh yeah, he had that bad snap. I forgot about that, which kind of backed them up. And then the center stepped on Geno Smith's foot when he was backing up.
It was comical, man.
It was comical, but as a Bills fan, I've been there before. Where Tyrod Taylor lines up behind the left guard, and
Jordan Love did that
Eric
too,
Wood
man.
snaps the ball, and then whatever. But I digress. Bills win this game, huge win, 31-10. James Cook getting in the end zone for 2 more touchdowns. This guy's unreal.
He lit it up this week.
This
dude.
guy's unreal.
Lit it up.
This is just a fun team. Amari Cooper was not involved, and we still put up 31 points.
I know.
So
That's a scary look.
it's a scary look for this team. I love how this defense plays too. This defense is together. They play together as a unit. That's what you want. They don't have the superstars like some teams do. They got the guys that show up. They got Greg Rousseau. They got Ed Oliver. Those are the 2 main pieces on that defense. But guys in the secondary like Taylor Rapp who are flying around out there. Guys like Dorian Williams who had a great game, underrated game last game. And Rasul Douglas. I mean, he's been pretty good against those tough wide receivers this year. Very quiet season from him, but guys aren't really throwing at him. So kind of taking away that side of the field for us, kind of helping that defense out, a young defense. And like I said, Greg Rousseau, every week this guy's in the backfield, living in the backfield.
He's an animal, dude.
And he's turning into one of the most feared pass rushers in the league. I don't know if that's a league-wide.
That's a correct title right
Do you think
there.
that's a league-wide title?
That's a correct title.
He's starting to turn into that, and I think him and Ed are a really good combo on that defensive line. Great win for the Bills overall. Big game against Miami next week. We can really lock down the division with the win at home. Squish the fish next week. Let's do it.
Love that. Love that. Little something I forgot to talk about earlier was when you were just mentioning about superstars. A superstar just did get traded recently. Deontay Johnson got traded to the Baltimore Ravens, which is a huge pickup for those Ravens because,
like you said, they were falling. Yeah.
Yeah. They lost the game. They got Zay Flowers. They got Likely. They got Mark Andrews. They got Rashawn Bateman, who's really stepped up this season. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and that amazing offensive line. And their defense is nothing to sniff at, man. They are good. That team is scary. And if Deontay Johnson fits well, this could be a very scary team.
And you know what's crazy about the Ravens right now is their biggest question mark is their special teams.
Yeah.
Which is not been a question mark for 15 years. And that includes the punter as well.
It does.
Some kind of weird punts. But Justin Tucker, man, short on a 50-yard kick.
He hit the longest field goal kick in history, 67.
It's one of those things where you watch and it's like, all right, man. It's like last year was the year. That you were done after last year. I think he's done after this year. Unfortunately, I still think he's a good kicker. He's still pretty accurate, but the leg's not there anymore, man. It's either he's got the leg and not the accuracy, or the accuracy and not the leg. So, I don't know, but just a question mark overall for the Ravens.
Yeah, completely. We're going on to a game now where, honestly, before this game, I could have seen this as a Sunday night game. I am very honest with it because you have the number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick. And that's the reason why, because the storylines, the headlines, we get taught this every single day, and in our class is like storytelling. This is a storytelling game right here. And it wasn't the greatest game. Let's be honest. I know there was a great play in this game, 2 great plays, but this game was not great. It wasn't. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I know one play will make it look like it was the best game of the year, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. We'll start with the Bears. Caleb Williams. The guy who's trying to beat out Jaden Daniels for Rookie of the Year threw for 131 yards and only completed 10 passes. DeAndre Swift, dog. Absolute dog. 18 carries, 129 yards, touchdown. Had a 56-yard rushing touchdown. That is why they were in this game. That's why they had the lead in general. Dog. DeAndre Swift is a scary man in that backfield. But this is the problem. Rome Odunze, very good wide receiver. He was the leading receiver for this team with 41 yards. Keenan Allen only had 39 yards. DJ Moore, 27. Cole Kmet, 14. He's got to get the ball out to his receivers, man.
I was gonna say I don't think this is a receiver issue. I think
that's what I'm saying. Those stats prove that Caleb Williams, he's got to get the ball out there.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that Keenan, he might be a little bit of a problem this year, but DJ Moore has been so good in getting so much separation on his corners. Caleb Williams has to start hitting on those deep balls to him. He just has to. He keeps missing them too often.
Let's talk about a guy now who can hit some deep balls, who's in the front race for the Rookie of the Year right now.
He had a big deep ball in that game.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, 21 for 38, 326 yards and a touchdown. That is the weirdest stat line for only putting up 18 points. 300 yards. 320 plus yards.
I mean, considering that, like 65 of it in that touchdown on one play.
Yep,
I mean, we'll talk about it. But
yeah, we'll talk about it. Brian Robinson Jr., 16 carries, 65 yards. Pretty good. Terry McLaurin's really, really getting involved. And I just saw an interview yesterday. He said this is the most fun he's having in his career.
And I was going to say that. I mean, one of my favorite stats of all time is the first 4 years of his career. He was on 3 different named teams on his rookie contract alone.
Yep.
But now, sticking with all that, sticking with this franchise, sticking with this fan base through all that.
It's ballsy, man.
I mean, 6-2 now. He's reaping the benefits. This is a guy that you love to see kind of get the reward for sticking around that long.
Man.
Sticking through the football team days. And this Commanders fan base, I mean, you saw it after that last play, and we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah.
After that Hail Mary, that Jaden Daniels threw to Noah Brown. Your guy, Noah Brown.
My guy, Noah Brown. Dude, that was my MVP last year.
He was. You see that fan base. You thought FedEx Field was going down.
Dude, I thought they were going to blow the place up.
Those fans are hyped. I mean, that place is rocking when they're good.
No, but
that's a fun team to watch, too.
Dude, the entire game, they were the loudest.
Yeah.
I think they were the loudest this week.
I
they were the loudest stadium this week.
I can't wait for the next primetime game in Washington.
Wow. And they better get flexed because this team is amazing.
And this team's really fun to watch too. I mean, Jaden Daniels obviously really the lead of that team, but even that defense, man,
they can lock down.
Yeah, and this is the worst game of Jaden Daniels' young career so far.
Yeah,
but I mean, still getting the win in this game with an iconic moment.
A staple already in his say he goes a mile. Goes to the Hall of Fame. One of the first clips shown is that Hail Mary.
100%, and it's going to be the play that really changed Washington's football, franchise forever.
Yeah, because if they lose this game, they go down to 5-3, which ties the Eagles.
Yep.
And they're tying, and that brings the Bears up to brings them up to 5-2, which helps a lot more in that division with the North. But since the Commanders got this win, it's so big for this playoff race coming up.
Yeah, and let's talk about one guy real quick. Taekwon Stevenson. I mean, guy of the week, biggest name of the week. I knew who he was before the week, but I'm assuming a lot of people didn't. Knowing the safety on the Bears, I don't know if many people know who that is, but
I knew it. It's just because of pure hatred.
If you haven't seen the play, this dude literally was just walking around in the end zone, taunting fans, crossing his arms at them while the play is going on.
Yep.
I mean, you can see Jaden Daniels fighting for it. I mean, he's lucky the pass wasn't thrown about 3 seconds earlier. He being an even worse spot to make a play on that ball, worse than he already was. But tried to make up for it, coming back to it. Ended up being the guy to tip the ball up.
Right to Noah Brown.
Right to Noah Brown in the back of the end zone. And
it was amazing.
I want to talk about Matt Eberflus here, what he said after the game. He said, it all comes down to that last play. We've practiced that play 100 times since we've been here. It didn't look like it, Matt.
Nope.
Didn't look like it. I mean, you had 6 guys converge on the ball. Even I know to either play back or in front.
Yeah.
I mean, if he bats it down, like you see with Mike Sims Walker, knocked down. You got to get in front to catch that knockdown if they do knock it down, and you got to get in the back in case it pops up. You've seen that way too many times in the NFL with teams. See it again this week. It's just a really frustrating game if you're a Bears fan. Watching the Part of My Take guys go at it this week. Big Cat and PFT with their 2 teams going at it. That was quite the moment there in that room there. But I want to read what Tyreek Stevenson, not Taekwon Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson said on X after this game to Chicago and teammates. My apologies for lack of awareness and focus. That's a statement in and of itself. The game ain't over until zeros hit the clock. Another statement right there. Can't take anything for granted. Notes taken. Improvement will happen. #bear down. What a pathetic statement to put out after you put out that performance on the last play of the game. Cost them the game, and you're not even using right punctuation. I mean, this is unreal. If I'm a Bears fan, I am PO'd at this guy.
Livid.
I am livid with this guy, and I don't think he should touch the field next week.
No. Absolutely not.
So, and I see here it says Kevin Byard. Obviously, Kevin Byard, longtime safety in the league with the Titans. He says there's still love for Stevenson in that locker room. I'm sure the offense doesn't love him.
Nope.
I'm sure
Caleb was
a lot of the guys
pissed.
in the defense don't love him either. It might just be the safety room that still has love for that guy. But
maybe the safety coach, maybe not even the safeties, because they probably want to.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
But obviously, the most questionable play of the year so far. That's right up there with Jacoby Myers throwing that backwards pass. Against the Raiders that one game. Was that last year or the year before?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, but up there with one of the most questionable plays and weirdest plays of all time. Improbable too. I'll say that. I mean, almost any other scenario, he's not getting any flack for that. He's probably still walking off the field talking to those fans if they knock that down. So just a weird situation overall, funny situation. But Commanders now moving to 6-2. They're the 2 seed in the NFC.
They are
electric.
very electric.
Now an AFC West matchup here. The Raiders, man. I mean, you thought maybe they could stay in this game, and they were for a little bit. They were, but it just wasn't enough against this Chiefs team, who moves now to 7-0. Chiefs getting the win, 27-20 against now the 2-6 Raiders, another 2-6 team in the AFC, and this is just another game for Mahomes in division. 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. But the man of this game, doing it again against his divisional opponents, is Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
10 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day. Just wow. I mean, nine yards a catch and a touchdown. Just impressive from the guy. He does it almost every week. Xavier Worthy adding in a touchdown of his own there. And on the flip side here for the Raiders, not much to talk about. This team doesn't really have much going for them. They're kind of just a stagnant team. They're going to be kind of around this mark the whole season. I assume they're probably going to get there around 5 wins, if I had to guess right now. But not much to talk about this team other than Brock Bowers really being a highlight for this team.
He's the leading receiver in the NFL.
Leading the league in receptions.
Not yards.
Yeah, leading the league in receptions. Added 5 in this game. The guy that I talked about, Jacoby Myers, just talked about him on the flip side for the Patriots, now on the Raiders. Caught a touchdown in that game for the Raiders. But yeah, Chiefs getting the win here. Now moved to 7-0. Commanding lead in the AFC.
Yeah.
Locking down
scary.
the 1 seed probably.
And they have another winnable game this week.
Yeah, I mean, every week it seems that they have a winnable game.
I know, but I mean, there's gonna be a week where it's gonna be like, whoa, it's gonna be a tough game. But I mean, like for example, when the Bills play them, that's gonna be hard, like a hard choice. I mean, not for you, but like for me, I really got to stick the game. But
you might as well pick the Chiefs in that game. You know who I'm picking.
I know you're picking.
Yeah, but
they've got a couple weeks till then.
Chiefs got the win in this one, and they're just rolling, man. Nothing else to say about them.
So let's go to another team that's kind of rolling right now. We got the Denver Broncos. I know Andrew Durr's not listening right now, but he's the biggest Broncos fan I know, and probably the only Broncos fan I know. Bo Nix, 3 touchdowns, 284 yards, 28 for 37. Nice job from the rookie QB. Jaleel McLaughlin, 8 carries, 47 yards was the most rushing, but they didn't need anything because Cortland Sutton had 100 yards on 8 receptions. Unreal. That team put up 28 points against a 1-7 Panthers team. And Bryce Young got the start this week because of what we were talking about last week with Andy Dalton and all of his complications.
Which at the time I did not know. I did not actually think that Andy Dalton wasn't going to play. I'm still hoping he's okay, obviously.
Yeah.
But just hilarious how the whole situation worked out. He's okay now, and his family's okay. But just hilarious how the whole situation worked out. And it worked out for Bryce Young, I guess, getting some snaps in that game.
Yeah, I mean, except he threw 2 more picks.
He got out there at least. I don't know, get the legs loose.
2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Chuba Hubbard, 56 yards. And I don't want to mispronounce this name because I really don't want to do it. But Jalen Coker. Yep.
Coker.
Jalen Coker, 4 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. 28-4 teams the final score. Broncos go to 5-3. Panthers down to 1-7.
Yeah, this Panthers team, man. You ever think they're gonna turn it around, man? I just don't. I don't. Moving on now to a classic matchup.
Another America win right here.
A big America win and a big win for the NFL with these two teams playing against each other on Sunday Night Football. In Santa Clara, San Fran getting the win, 30-24 against the Dallas Cowboys. And you know what? Your guy Anders Carlson, starting off this
I
game.
hate that guy.
Starting
I hate that guy. No. I hate that guy. That guy could, like, what is he doing?
I
Was
just
he-
want to point out
he goes-
nine points in this game for him.
Like he sucks. He's one of the worst kickers in the league, and he goes over for one game against one of our rivals
Yeah.
and puts up like 50-yard bombs.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
First field goal, 50 yards,
Jesus.
44
Come
yards, and 41 yards for the guy, respectively.
Not respectively.
And overall for this 49ers team, those field goals helped, but really what helped was that third quarter, and those 3 touchdowns that happened within it between the running back Isaac Guerrero, George Kittle getting in the
National
end zone.
Tight Ends Day.
National Tight Ends Day.
The man who created National Tight Ends
Yeah, he
Day.
did. I mean,
Him and Kittle
Yep.
created it.
Mm-hmm. And Brock Purdy getting in the end zone, rushing touchdown of his own. That moved them up 27-10. Kind of looked bleak for the Cowboys at that point, but they kind of made it close at the end with that CeeDee Lamb touchdown. Tried to get that onside kick at the end too. Didn't work out. But overall for the Niners, huge win for them.
Huge.
Avoiding going 3-5, which would kind of make them dead in the NFC, honestly. But now 4-4. Now tied with the Cardinals at the top of that division, which is weird to say. Tied with the Seahawks at the top of that division as well. And the Cowboys moving to 3-4.
A lot of question marks for that Cowboys team.
Right.
A lot
I mean,
of question marks.
they are, I don't even know, 4 games out of the lead right now in their division, 3.5, and I think 2.5 out of the playoffs. So
Yeah.
Cowboys need to start winning games. I don't know their upcoming schedule off the top of my head.
I think they're on a bye this week, right?
But
No, they're not on a bye this week, but I think they have a pretty tough game this week, from what I can remember.
the Niners are on a bye this week. It's the Niners and the Steelers
yeah, the Niners
on
are
a
on
bye
a
this
bye.
week.
Okay, yep.
And the Cowboys at the Falcons. So not much of an easier
Oh, yeah,
game
that
this
is.
week for the
Yeah.
Cowboys, especially in Atlanta. But they do play well. That was their first road loss. They're 3-1 on the road, so something to monitor there for the Cowboys. Can they get back on the streak next week? Get back on it? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But we'll get into that.
But we'll get
later.
into that in a second. Right now, let's talk about the Monday night game,
Yeah, the
which
Steelers-
was kind of a feel-good game for me because, I love Russell Wilson. I love Justin Fields in the NFL. And seeing those two guys laughing on the sideline
that was
during
really
this
cool.
game,
That was
it
really
was just a cool moment for Mr. Unlimited.
Unlimited. You just gotta be unlimited.
You do. Sometimes. And he was.
And he was 278 yards, touchdown, only didn't complete 8 passes. He went 20 for 28. That's amazing. Najee Harris, though, he's really picked it up this year. Really has.
Best season since his rookie year.
19 carries, 114 yards. This guy is consistent. Whoever took this guy in the 6th round of their fantasy draft is going nuts. Going nuts. Because I'm assuming this guy didn't go to the top 4. So, unbelievable. George Pickens, another 74 yards on the day. Just a great overall win. It was, I know it says 26 to 18 on the scorecard, but it wasn't. There was more. This was a blowout win. It felt like a blowout win for the Steelers. They played significantly better than the Giants.
Yeah, it was never a game that you really felt like the Giants were going to be in or especially win. Just everything that they got going on right now, all the injuries they got to basically their best players.
Yeah.
And the way that Daniel Jones is playing right now, too.
Another pick this week.
Just not a good storm overall for the Giants.
There's like one guy to talk about. Or sorry, there's 2 guys to talk about. Only 2 guys on this Giants team. One of them is Tyrone Tracy Jr. 20 carries, 145 yards and a touchdown.
And he's taking Devin Singletary's spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Darius Slayton put up 108 yards. But those are the only 2 guys to talk about from the Giants.
Yeah, and Darius Slayton, I mean, he's been doing that for the Giants for how many years now? With, no recognition and no quarterback? A while. Pretty good receiver. I thought somebody would take a shot on him to trade for him at the trade deadline, but I guess not Deontay Johnson getting that treatment.
That's the thing. We have a week from yesterday is the trade deadline for the NFL. So we have a big week coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Big week coming up.
Yep. So that's week 8 right there. And now we're going to move on to Gavin's MVP and fantasy MVP. Before we get into our week 9 predictions and our week 9 predictions.
Yeah, I'm going to make this short, cute, and simple. The fantasy MVP, like I do first every week. Charlie already knows who I'm going to pick right now because I kind of lit him up with him. It's got to be Jalen Hurts. 236 yards passing, 1 touchdown, but also 10 rushes for 37 yards and 3 touchdowns.
This guy easily could have had no touchdowns, bro. Like, he could have had zero. He could have had no. But what's terrible about that is that Saquon would have gotten the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you would have gotten the points anyway against me.
That was the point of picking them.
Yeah, I know.
So that equals.
Just so annoying, man.
equals to 35.14 points and a win for Hurt So Good. Come on, baby, let it hurt so good. All right, anyways, my real MVP. I didn't do it the last time. I'm not thinking about it twice this time. It's going to be Malik Willis. I was going to give it to him a couple weeks ago, but I said it would be biased. Throw that out the window. Take that throw out the window. He deserves it. Guy worked his absolute ass off, and I don't care if it was only 2 quarters. He's the reason why we won that game. He threw the best throw he's thrown in his career to Jaden Reed to get, well, one of his best throws, because he had a couple good ones against the Titans that 1 week. But it was just a big win, and that's the biggest win. That was the scariest trap loss scenario.
Right.
And he made sure it didn't happen.
I was going to say,
that's my
I mean,
MVP.
maybe a biased MVP, but MVP nonetheless.
And I actually did have a second one, though.
Okay.
Because if you did call me biased.
It's a little bit biased, yeah.
But just because of how many times this guy got in the end zone and how well he performed, it was James Cook. But
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah, but I knew you were going to call me biased. So
I think
had to
regardless, it was Jalen Hurts overall across the board. He was the best player this week.
He was.
Lit it up.
I just couldn't put him in both spots.
Yeah, it's fair. It's totally fair.
And I had to put him in the fantasy because we played each other.
100%. Actually, my fantasy MVP was Dan Monahan because he beat Gavin twice. So shout out to Dan, getting that win for me, getting the extra win for me.
The 2 wins.
He's the 2 wins. Moving on now to week 9. I might start doing fantasy MVP this year too. Moving on now to week 9. We got some good games this week, some good divisional games, and some good conference games.
No, we do.
overall.
Yeah, we have some good games.
Starting off now on Thursday, we got Texans at Jets.
This is a Thursday night game.
This is a Thursday night game.
And I got the Texans here because I think the Jets don't look good. All right, plain and simple, they just don't look good. And I think even with Diggs being out and Collins being out for 1 more week, I think Joe Mixon's legacy game is this one.
Yeah, you're right. The Jets don't look good. They don't look good at all. But I'm picking them this week.
You think they can run the table?
I think that the words that Aaron Rodgers said, they have no margin for error. And they're at home this week, mind you.
It's a big home game.
Against the banged-up Texans team. I think that this is a game where it seems like the Texans kind of losing their momentum a little bit. Might lose this one. Jets need a win. Well, I know they lost last week. Like, I know everything that's going on with them. I'm not totally confident in this pick, but I'm rolling with the Jets because I think this is a good enough spot where I can pick them. I need to make up some games on Gavin. I'm down 5 games so far on him right now, but yeah, I got the Jets.
All right, I got the Texans. We're gonna go on to Saints at Panthers, and with Derek Carr coming back and how bad the Panthers are, I'm gonna go Saints.
Yeah, I got the Saints too. I cannot pick the Panthers. I mean, even the Saints team. I mean, I don't want to pick them either. But
Carr's coming back this week, right?
But yeah, Carr is coming back this week. I actually have to start him in one of my leagues because Purdy's on a bye and the Colts bench Richardson. So
that's tough.
Kind of a tough week for my QB room.
That is really tough.
But yeah, I got the Saints in this one.
Next game we have the Commanders at the Giants, and I got the offensive rookie of the year taking home a good win here. So
yeah, it's kind of it's the same thing as last game. You know, you can't justify picking a team that just doesn't give you any reason to root for them or cheer for them.
Plus, the last time these two teams played, the Commanders beat them by only putting up field goals.
Yeah.
So and they look a lot better since that game. Mm-hmm. So I got the Commanders.
Yeah, big Austin Seibert game that game. He's been great this season for the Washington Commanders. I want to mention that too. Not just their offense, defense, special teams been great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the Commanders in that game too. I just don't think that Giants have anything going for them right now. Another team that doesn't have anything going for them right now is this next game, Dolphins at Bills. I got the Bills because those Dolphins are terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah,
they're terrible. And you know, I could be eating my words right now. Next Wednesday, I really could be, but there's been no indication that this Bills team is slowing down offensively, especially. And there's been no indication that the Dolphins offense is going to even start putting up points anytime soon. So I think this should be a Bills win. And I think we're going to get it.
Yeah, I got the Bills in this one. I just don't think the way that defense is flying around, the way the offense is flying around, the Dolphins are not going to stop anywhere. And give me the Bills.
Now moving to Northeast Ohio. Talking about Cleveland here. Chargers at Browns this week. This might shock some people, but I got the Browns in this game.
I do too. I think the way they played against the Ravens, if they can just keep that going and Jameis can just make another legacy game, I think that they can beat down the Chargers by maybe 2 scores in the sense of 10 points.
Yeah, and I haven't been totally confident about the Chargers all season. They've been kind of back and forth. I kind of all started with that. It kind of locked in for me on the Monday night game against the Cardinals where they lost.
Yeah.
Where I could just see how flippy kind of a team they were. And definitely last week, kind of a weak win, but a win nonetheless. But got the Browns in this one, which is kind of a interesting pick. Them being 2-6 and Chargers being 4-4, but just the way these teams are playing right now.
The way they match up right now, too.
And the way that the vibes are in Cleveland. That crowd was
buzzing,
electric last week. And Jameis, it's a new energy with that team.
The boys are buzzing.
Yeah, I got the Browns.
I do, too. Going on to the Patriots at the Titans. This one was a game-time decision for me. And just the way that defense kind of rallied last week, even though they were playing a tough offense with the Jets, I think I'm going to take the Patriots because I liked how they can run the ball. Even if Drake May's not playing, I think they can get the ball out there a couple times to Hunter Henry. He's really their best receiver this year is Hunter Henry. So give me the Patriots.
Yeah, I got the Patriots too, and you know what? Obviously, if Drake May was playing in this game 100%,
yeah,
definitely be on him. Now this kind of confirms that I just will not probably be picking the Titans the rest of the season.
Yes, same here.
But I had the Patriots just because I said to Gav, I think that the Patriots, what did I say? The Patriots defense outweighs the Titans offense more than the Titans defense outweighs the Patriots offense, if that makes any sense.
I get it.
I just think that the Patriots defense is that good. And the Titans defense is nothing to sneeze at either. Actually, they're leading the league in yards against. They have the least amount let up.
Oh, wow.
The league. Yeah, which is pretty impressive. But I still got the Patriots in this game. And I think this is going to be a big win for them. And honestly, huge win for the Bills because it gives them a worse draft pick. And with the Jets, I think winning this weekend and give them a worse draft pick. Obviously, the Dolphins are going to lose, but to the Bills, hopefully. But I think they're going to pick it up a little bit too. So just an overall good week, I think, for the Buffalo Bills this week coming up.
Could be a good one.
Exciting if you're a Bills fan. But moving on now to Cowboys at Falcons in the ATL. Big Kirko chains. I got the Falcons in this one.
I do too. I think the way that they can rally with themselves, I think the way that the Cowboys have been looking and the way that the Falcons, specifically Kirk Cousins, has been looking, it's a good day. It's a good week to pick the Falcons, and the way to see that the Falcons can rely on each other, especially when they play someone like the Chiefs. When they play someone like the Chiefs and they can still win, or sorry, not win, but they can still compete. They're gonna play the Cowboys, but they're gonna dominate. If that makes any sense.
No, I agree. I think the running game overall is gonna really carry the Falcons in this game, which is kind of crazy because usually it's a passing game, but I feel like that Cowboys run defense has just not been good this year. So I think Bijan's gonna have a pretty big game for the Falcons this week. Raiders at Bengals is the next game, and this is gonna be kind of a lay back.
Yeah.
This one will be on Red Zone. Mm-hmm. It'll be on Red Zone. You'll see some highlights from this game, but former playoff matchup from a few years ago, 2021, when Derek Carr faced off against Joe Burrow. That was the same day that the Bills played the Patriots in Buffalo. Shout out to the Bills for getting that win.
That was a great game.
A great day overall for football. Regardless, in this game, this year, I have the Bengals in this game. And I think this is going to really push them towards getting back in a playoff spot. I have the Chargers obviously losing this week. So based on my predictions, I got the Bengals in the playoffs starting next week. I'm going to
completely agree with you on everything you just said, especially with the Chargers losing and the Bengals winning. With everything you said. But another reason is I don't think I'll be picking the Raiders for another game probably. Maybe there'll be one. So
do they play the Titans? That's it.
Exactly. So give me the Bengals here.
Yeah. Broncos at Ravens, and this is an interesting game and a good game of 2 5-3 AFC teams going at it. Two teams that are kind of in that wild card race, I guess technically right now, trying to get back in their divisional races. I I have the Ravens in this one. They have too much to lose if they lose this game, more than the Broncos do. And they're trying to win their division outright. So, I got the Ravens in this one.
I got the Ravens too because I feel like their backs are more against the wall than the Broncos. And when the backs are against the wall, that's when Derrick Henry can carry
Especially
teams
at
on his
home,
back.
too.
Yeah, at home. I think this is a good bounce back win for the Ravens here.
Bears at Cardinals is the next game, and Cardinals are rolling right now, and they're a tough team to pick against, but I got the Bears in this one. I think they're going to go into Arizona, get that win. This is another game that the Bears need to win to stay in that divisional race, and obviously the Cardinals need this game too, but I think the Bears need it a little bit more, especially with that loss last week. I think that's going to feel them a little bit going into this week, which it's a questionable pick, picking the team that just lost on a Hail Mary, but, I don't know. I think the Bears are going to get it done.
It's going to be tough, too, because, the Cardinals, they need a win just as much as the Bears do.
Yeah, they do.
I think the Bears got more of their back against the wall.
Cardinals are rolling a little bit too good right now, though.
And I do get that point, but that's why I'm picking them, because I like the way they're rolling. And if this was like a Niners or an Eagles or something like that, obviously I'm not choosing the Cardinals. But the way that the Bears played last week and the way that the Cardinals played last week, on paper, I think it's pretty obvious to go Cardinals, but
it is.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals just because I like how they're playing. I like how they've bounced back since they've lost to the Packers, and they've really locked in since then. Even if it was getting like a crappy win against the Chargers, they still find a way to get it done.
Right.
And I really think that the Cardinals defense is going to help in this game.
I agree.
It might be a shootout.
But like I said, I need to make up some games on you. I'm down five games right now. My record overall is 74-49. Gavin is 79-44. So a little bit switch to 9s and 4s there.
Yeah.
We had the same record, I guess. But anyway, I need to make up some games. So this is a game where I felt comfortable enough to pick the team, that I thought could upset this team at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
So got the Bears in this one. You got the Cards. Moving on now to Jaguars at Eagles, and this is a weird matchup in Philly.
Really weird matchup.
Jags don't go to Philly too often,
They don't.
but they're going this year, and that's why it's going to be a tough game for Trevor Lawrence. I think his first game in Philly, he's going to get eaten alive, I feel like, by that defense, and I got the Eagles in this game.
I completely agree. I don't have too much to say about it. Give me the Eagles here. Next game, we have the Rams at the Seahawks.
Huge game.
This is ginormous.
Huge game. Potentially, I know Tom Brady was in Seattle last week with that Fox game of the week, him and Burkhardt, but potentially should be in Seattle again this week for this game.
I don't know about that.
I think so.
He's in another place this week.
I know.
And that's a
But
big
this game I feel like means more.
Okay. All right. Keep
This
going,
game
though.
means more, I feel like.
Talking.
I feel like this game means more just because one of these teams is probably going to miss the playoffs.
Okay.
And
I get that.
that game that you're talking about, Packers at Lions, which we'll talk about in next game, I feel like that game, both those teams are going to get in the playoffs. So that's why I feel like this game means a little bit more. Obviously, Brady's going to be in, they schedule pretty good. He's going to be in Green Bay this week. But I got the Rams regardless. Seahawks losing back-to-back home games, I think. And I think this Rams team now fully healthy, back to it. Matt Stafford looks really good. He's another guy in that group with Kirk and Jared Goff, just underrated good quarterbacks, pocket passers that aren't getting the love that they deserve. And I got the Rams in this game.
I got the Rams in this game for the same reasons. I like the way that Puka looked last week. I like the way that Kupp looked like last week. I like the way Kyren Williams. I like the entire
and Jordan
offense.
Whittington too, that third receiver that they got, and Tutu Atwell. Those two guys, they've been really stepping up. Yeah, complimenting those two receivers really well. Just a good dynamic offense.
Just the only position they're missing on is really tight end.
Yeah,
Parkins is
he's all right. Former Seahawk though. He knows how to play against the Seahawks. Knows how to play in Seattle.
Yeah, and so I think the Rams is a great time to just get a great push and rally. So give me the Rams here.
I think they'll be led by Kyren Williams in this game.
I think so too.
Lions at Packers is the next game. In like you said, this is game of the week. I don't think it's the most important game, but I do think it's game of the week. Wow, what a game! I'll say my thoughts real quick, and then you can get into it a little bit. I got the Lions just because I think they're a better team overall. Even in Green Bay, kind of scares me, right? But I know I have to make up some games on you. Knew you were going to pick the Packers in this one. Going Lions. MCDC for the win.
Terrified. That's one word I can say when I look at this matchup is terrified. Why? Because the Lions are a top 2. I'm going to say that they are the second best team in the NFL right now, if not the first. Them and the Chiefs are 1-A, 1B.
Chiefs are the best.
The Chiefs are the best, so I'm going to put Lions at 2. That is the way that team plays is amazing. The Lions are an amazing team, and it's a scary week, and I know how bad all those players on the Lions hate the Packers. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. I remember what happened last year when they marched into Green Bay and kicked the snot out of the Packers. The snot out of them. So this is not going to be an easy game, but I think that's what the Packers need. They need a good team to walk into their place and punch them in the mouth. That's what they need.
Right.
And this is the week where you get punched in the mouth and you get up and guess what? And you bite off a goddamn kneecap. Who said that?
MCDC.
Yeah. But let's flip the script now. Let's have the other team bite a goddamn kneecap.
Right.
Let's do it.
All right.
Go Pack, go. I got the Packers in this one. A little tidbit too. This is Tom Brady's first time in Lambeau since the NFC Championship.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's gonna it hurts already that Tom Brady's
He's
gonna
gonna
be
love
there.
being back there.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt that he's already back there. But if there's a time for Lambeau to get rocking, you know what? Give me 1 second. I just think this is a great week for the Packers. Just really rally with the team, really rally with everybody. I think this could be just amazing. Let's see. On Sunday, we got 57 degrees and 55% chance of rain in Green Bay.
All right.
This can be a running. But then again, even with the run game, they have the two-headed monster. I don't know. I'm torn. I just can't pick against the Packers. Go Pack, go.
You seem a little stressed over this.
Dude,
I know.
I said terrified.
I know.
I mean, he can see my facial
Yeah.
reactions. I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
terrified.
let's move on away from it so you don't have to think about it until Sunday now. Colts at Vikings is the next game.
I can't believe this is the Sunday night game.
This is the Sunday night game. And
I mean,
whatever.
I hope it's a good game.
I hope it's a good game too. Hope it's a good game for our friend Ian.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate the Vikings
and
too.
I get the Vikings in this game regardless, though.
I do too.
Unfortunately, I don't think Joe Flacco can go in there and beat this 5-2 team.
Not in US Bank Stadium.
Not in that stadium, but especially with the Vikings need to win. I mean, they lost their last two.
Now they got their backs against the wall too.
Right, and especially because they'll be looking at that Lions Packers game right before it. They'll be saying
That's
we need to
factor.
win. In my book, I see that the Bears getting a win too. I think the Vikings, that's going to push them throughout this week. And I got the Vikings winning that game.
They know it's a must-win this week, and I got the Vikings. I don't like the way the Colts' offense looks. Plain and simple.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
give me the Vikings.
Moving on now to the last game of the week, the Monday night game, which would have been one of the best games of the year
It
if
probably would have been game of the week, honestly, if it was fully healthy.
would have been game
I
of the
would give
week.
it-
I think if
yeah.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were both healthy.
agree.
Bucks at Chiefs. Former Super Bowl 50. What was it? 55, 56 matchup. It was the COVID
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
It was
Whatever Super Bowl that was, they're all kind of blending together now. I don't even know what number is even this year, 58 or 59?
358.
58.
I don't remember now. No, it's 59.
59 this year.
'Cause it was, I don't know. I don't remember.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But regardless, this team that I got the Chiefs winning this game, they'll probably be in whatever Super Bowl year it is this year. But this team's rolling too good right now. I mean, this team's too good. Their schemes are too good. Nobody can really stop them doing anything. Nobody can really stop Mahomes' running ability either, including his arm. It's just an overall perfect storm for the Chiefs right now. You can't wait till D-Hop gets going for them. See what he can do with that offense. It's going to be kind of really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already terrified thinking about week 12, right, or whatever week we play them right now. So,
Yeah, I mean, I got the Chiefs in this one. Not too much to say. I think the Bucks are just too hurt right now, and the Chiefs are really healthy. And I think this is the first week we get a D-Hop score. So, I think this is the week that can really propel this Chiefs team not only to be the best team in the NFL, but to be the biggest threat to any. Like they are the biggest threat to any team already, but to give players nightmares before they play them. So, give me the Chiefs.
yep. And like I said, 49ers and Steelers on a bye this week. So, if you're a fan of one of those teams,
Sit back and relax, man.
sit back, watch Red Zone, enjoy.
They're both coming off big wins.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
both need fans of those teams just need to sit back, relax, get some red zone going, popcorn, some soda or whatever beverage you like to drink on Sundays.
And these picks will be on our Instagram.
At Out of Bounds Podcast with a dot between every single word.
Yes, it is. Gavin, you got anything?
Let's enjoy the week. Let's hope next week I don't come back terrified.
Yeah.
Well, I mean next week I won't because loss or win or lose. We go on a bye next week,
Yep.
so I can deal with like a loss this week just because I couldn't have done it if the Packers lost this week, and then last week, then this week. But everybody just enjoy. Everybody, it's gonna be a nice Halloween weekend. Everybody have fun. Be responsible.
Be responsible.
Have a weekend.
Have a weekend. To have a week. Yeah. Have a day.
Have a day.